Hi, my name is Morgan McLean, and for my survey of early childhood class, I did observations at 6 different schools. I'll start with pre-K, and I'll go with my Grow and Glow and list them all out. For pre-K, I observed Miss Browning at Oakbrook Elementary in Sherwood, and a grow about Miss Browning and in her classroom is that she was very, very sweet, very genuine to the students. She had pictures posted of the students. She had things around the wall, things on the walls of their artwork, and the lighting was very good. She had several lamps, and those are all things that I would incorporate in my classroom. The environment that she set with the tone in her voice and just the classroom in general was very opening and very, very, very caring towards the students, and I do think that the students feed off of that. A grow is that there was a lot of center time. I don't know if it was just the time that I observed, but almost the entire time I was there, they were in centers. And like I said, that could be the time I was there, but I do feel like more table time, whether it be coloring, whatever it is, that that they do spend more time doing that. Also, the classroom was very cluttered, so much packed into one classroom, and there was several different activities, but for different things like the singing table, you might have to go all the way across the room to get the stuff for it. So I do feel like just that was kind of an issue. There was so much stuff going on, and it was cluttered. For kindergarten, I observed Miss Alexander at Clinton Elementary in Sherwood, and I just loved her classroom. A glow is pretty much anything in her classroom. She made learning fun. They used Go Noodle, which involved the students in activities. They would have to pat their head and rub their belly, and then rub their belly and pat their head at the same time, and they just had a good time doing it. She also would use cheer moves for a popcorn word. The popcorn word of the day, whenever I observed, was do. So they would clap and then do D-O and then clap again. And she just made the entire environment fun. Learning was fun. Her voice, everything was fun about her classroom. I walked in and I immediately felt the positive vibes in her classroom. And I really, really enjoyed observing there. I actually came home and told my husband that I want to work there, which I'm basing it off of her one classroom, but she just had a huge impact over my whole, teaching thought and stuff. So I definitely enjoyed her classroom. A grow, I guess, I really can't say a whole lot, but that a couple students, they got upset and kind of got an attitude with her, and I feel that maybe it was because she is so sweet. The tone in her voice is so caring and isn't stern like at any point in time, but I think that maybe that's why. So it's really the only thing that I could say a grow out of her, because I just loved her classroom. For first grade, I observed Miss Pig at Sylvan Hills Elementary in Sherwood, and her classroom was lots of fun also. She was doing an activity, a tongue twister activity with the class, and they had to write a tongue twister starting with their name, and then they taped it or glued it onto a face that they decorated, and then they cut out hair. She was just fun. She complimented the children constantly. Oh, I really like that hair that you chose, or, all kinds of things. Just very, very sweet and caring to her students. She was involved a great lot with her students and what they were doing, and she was just constantly walking around the classroom and complimenting them and helping them where they needed. One grow that I could say in Miss Pig's class is there was a lot of students talking. It was almost like free time. They were all talking, they were getting up, walking around, they were having discussions. Some of them were working at different tables than what they sat at. It was just very chaotic in a way. So I do think that they need more rules, that they need to stay at their table in their seat, sitting down. Of course, discussion amongst the table, that's one thing, but they were just kind of shouting across the room and no discipline, no quiet down, anything. So that would be a grow, definitely. For second grade, I observed Miss Nelson at Tolleson Elementary in Jacksonville. And one glow that I saw that I really, really liked is that she was working with 3 students at a time and just helping them with different skills, and she was going over different things with them in math, and they were drawing a chart, and she would just help them individually. That was a time that she could help each student individually. Of course, it was 30 at a time, but she was sitting at the table with them and would spend a little bit of time with each one of them and was observing what they were doing, and she was documenting what they were doing and writing it all down. And that's a glow that she was working with children individually. A glow is while she was doing the 3 at a time, she was also having students on the computers, and I know that they were on learning programs, but they were spending so much time on the computer. I don't know if it's just that's what they do in the mornings. I'm not sure, because I was, of course, only there for an hour. But there was extensive use of the computers, and I do see that as possibly being an issue. If that's something they did every single day, then that could be an issue. But she just said while they do the 3 at a time on their math skills, they do the spelling, they unscramble spelling words and sentences. And so there was extensive use on the computers, and I do think that should be monitored, and that's something that I would make sure was monitored in my classroom. For third grade, I observed Miss Russell's class at Dupree Elementary in Jacksonville, and a glow is that she was very involved with her students. She never sat down. Once again, this is a third grade classroom, so she could have easily said, okay, do this worksheet, and in 10 minutes, I need you to turn it in. And she could have sat down at her desk. She did not. She assigned something, and she walked around, and she observed what they were doing at all times. She never sat down. She walked around. She would compliment students that were doing well, and she would help those that were stuck and having a complicated time, and she just constantly was helpful to those students in a positive way. A grow is that she was extremely monotone. Some people this doesn't bother. To me, this stood out a lot. She was extremely monotone in the way that she talked. There was no enthusiasm, no change in tone, nothing. She was very bland, and I do feel like students, I especially see that. I feel like students would see that she did not sound excited, happy at any point in time, and I do see that as an issue. That's something that I believe I have. I think I have enthusiasm in my voice, and I would definitely want in my classroom, because like I said, students feed off of that, and they notice those things, and I want them to think I'm happy about them learning, or else they're not going to be. For fourth grade, I observed Miss Linder at Bermuda Elementary in Jacksonville, and it was kind of a rough experience. A glow, I would have to say, is that she did have an activity of angles and stuff on a paper plate that would interest children and intrigue them into learning. It was a grow is that she just was not friendly, and she was kind of rude to the students. She never once had a smile on her face. The tone in her voice was negative. It was just, I don't know if it was a bad day. I can't say exactly what it was, if that's how it was every day in the classroom, but I definitely learned from it, but it wasn't necessarily a positive experience. But overall, out of observing at all the schools, I'm glad I got to observe every single grade from pre-K to fourth grade, because I did learn a lot. I singled out exactly what grade I would like to teach, which I'm pretty sure is first grade as of right now. And by observing this helped me, because when I went into it, I thought second grade. And then I observed Miss Alexander's class, and which is kindergarten. I really, really loved her classroom. I loved the fun things she could incorporate. And when I observed first grade, Miss Pick's class at Silvan Hills, I knew that's what I wanted to do. It was fun. You got to incorporate the fun stuff, but you didn't have to sit down and teach the entire time. And overall, it was a great experience. I got to be around teachers that you could tell genuinely loved their kids, loved their jobs, teachers that were great in some ways, but kind of had their negatives about them. And then, of course, some teachers that I can just say I don't want to be like. And so overall, it was a great experience, and I'm extremely happy that I got to have that experience. Thank you.